What's up guys, Midar Truga Development. I'm remodeling this kitchen and we're doing a bunch of different things to it. And today I want to do my crown trim and I want to do my light rail trim. I guess I'll do two different videos for that. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what the time is like. But anyways, I'm going to start with the crown. I got 3 5/8 crown that's going to go. There's soffits in this kitchen. So I'm blending the soffits in with the cabinets and then capping it with crown, just to give it more of a grander look. So I want to show you what I'm doing. Check it out. All right, guys, so this is the setup. In this kitchen, we have the soffit, all right? And so basically, it's the same idea if you have cabinets all the way up to the ceiling. The trick with crown is it touches two surfaces. So it touches the wall, touches the ceiling. So it's imperative that you get it straight across. The trick is there's no one ceiling that's going to be straight from one end to the next, just because wood sags. And especially if the home is older, then you'll get a little bit more movement throughout the years. So what you want to do is you don't want to base your straight line off of the ceiling, knowing that the ceiling is going to be moving or is not going to be flat. So what you want to do is you want to set a benchmark for yourself, a straight line that you're going to measure from. And to do that, you basically just take your level and you put it wherever. It doesn't matter along this wall. In my case, and you can see I already have it lined up. I came up to here and I made sure that my level is accurate and I drew a line, okay? And I did the same thing throughout the whole wall. Then I measure from it to the ceiling, right? So here I got 9 1/4, here I got 9 1/2, and this goes all the way across to determine what's the shortest distance. And I got 10 1/4 here. So in this particular wall, my shortest distance is this 9 1/4. So that's where you're going to, that's going to be your height all the way across. You're gonna base it off of 9 1/4. Reason being is, if you started at the highest point, then you're gonna have to bow your crown to match the ceiling, which you don't want because that's the highest point. If you already start at the highest point, there's no other way to go but at a incline, and you don't want that. You want a straight line across. Just like when you're putting in cabinets, you start from the highest point in the floor so you can shim up to it. Same thing here. We start from the shortest point or highest, depending on which direction you're looking at it. And then we backfill to make it all look uniform. So I'll show you how I'm doing that, but that is a crucial point that you gotta do when you're doing crown. Otherwise, if you back up, this ceiling looks perfectly fine, but it's not. To the naked eye, it looks fine. And once you put a crown or anything else to it, it's going to exaggerate that bow, and we don't want that. So you got to determine the shortest distance and run your crown across. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut some crown and we'll come back and I'll show you how I'm putting that together. Okay, crown is cut. I got this one long piece that's gonna go there. And I have this mitered piece that's going up here. I started with this. It's a little difficult to kind of do this while filming, but what you wanna do is you wanna make sure you mark your studs. If you're doing this directly onto a wall, if you're doing it onto a cabinet, then you know that's all wood. You can go wherever. So anyways, I went ahead and marked them. You could see maybe the marks here, and I stopped right here so I can film it so you guys can see what I'm doing. As I'm going, I'm using my level, of course. You want to make sure that it is a level line. All right. And really, all it is just moving this until you get to that level point. There you go. Tight spaces. Just want to see what that looks like. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. And now what we'll do is we're gonna backfill that spot right there, just kind of how I did underneath. So I backfilled with wood filler here under this coat around trim. The same routine. This is gonna get sanded, it's gonna get painted, it's all gonna blend in. And we're gonna do the same thing up here. It's a process, but you know, again, if you wanna make everything look straight, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, on to the second piece. Before you start anything, before you go nailing, you wanna dry fit your piece, make sure it fits correctly. Last thing you want is you go and nail everything in and you're stuck at the corner trying to fit it in. I marked my studs. I couldn't detect any studs using my stud finder, so I used a long, narrow bit. You could use anything really, and just kind of poke some holes in. Everything will be covered. All right, here we go. Again, remember from your marks, this is my shortest distance, so I want to punch my nail here first, and then we'll move around. Yeah, this is the part where having a partner, somebody to help, would be great. You get this nice and flush with the ceiling here. With that, there you go. Now, see, now you can release this hand a little bit, not for too long, because it's still very heavy on that side. So we're gonna move on. That's the shorter sets. I'm not worried about that. I wanna support this part. So. Now the rest is pretty straightforward. Push it up and get it level. All right. All right, after you've punched in a couple of nails, step back just to kind of get an idea of where things are going, and I think we're doing all right. Definitely some backfilling needs to happen there. All right. Last piece. I have to go in this way. And there you go. All right. Backfill all the pieces. It's tedious, but it just really finishes the look. So I'll do that and I'll show you what the finished product looks like. All right, guys, my piece is up here. These two pieces are up. And I was show you how I'm backfilling, like there. So I start off with joint compound. And then once that dries, you don't want to leave that on because, on by itself, because it's gonna crack, it's gonna break. So once you're done with the joint compound, come back the next day when it's dry and throw in some wood filler. This is the guy that I use. Plastic wood, all-purpose wood filler, okay? And then you sand that, paint it, and you're done. Now, this might seem like a lot of work. It's more tedious than it is a lot of work, but think about it this way. You do it one time, and then you're happy with the results. You use the kitchen all the time. You don't want to walk in here every time and you're like, oh man, I should have done that. So it sucks, but it needs to get done. And what happens is with this, you just let it sit and move on to another part of the project while this dries. You're gonna need another day anyways to maybe do whatever else you're doing in here. So just do it and then come back the next day and do the other part. So there you go. Just use, you could use all-purpose joint compound. It doesn't matter. I always seem to have a bucket laying around somewhere. Okay. Don't worry about the molding getting dirty. Just clean it as much as you can. You're gonna come back with a fine grit, and all you're doing is just scuff sanding it. So it's no big deal. It'll take like seconds to do this whole 12-foot, 14-foot section. Okay, and there you go. All right, just like that, I'll do the other piece. I'm not worried about this. I'm just gonna throw a bead of caulk on top and touch everything up. It'll all look pretty when it's all done. All right, guys, kitchen is complete. I got my appliances in. I got the floors, I think I said that last, done. Baseboard, paint, everything is in. The backsplash is looking nice. My crown with the soffit painted to match to kind of give it a fuller look. Guys, I hope you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It's the only way to support it. And I'll see you guys on the next one.